what was it, 150,000? I forget the number. It was a legal expense. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing.
But to pay hush money to a porn star who he's banging while his wife is 9 months pregnant, right? Yeah, that hush money is a problem.
Whoa.
It's
not hush money. It's not hush money. It's not hush money.
He paid that money to keep her silent so she wouldn't go to the National Enquirer. Follow the story, man. Now you're being disingenuous.
No, you're probably right.
Literally, hush money to stop a porn star from
hush money is not a crime. Hush money is not a tax crime. It's not a crime.
He wasn't convicted by hold on. Everybody, hold on. Marshall, hold on. Oof. Let me tell you something, bro. He wasn't prosecuted by the IRS. He was prosecuted. It wasn't a tax crime. But when you pay hush money to a porn star, right, and then you lie about that money, where that money went, yeah, that's a crime. You get it? I know you get it.
Who lied about it?
Can I just bridge the gap here?
Yes, Brad. Let's go. Full C, shut up. Brad, go ahead.
So, Jules, you have to admit, the Democrats got one. They maneuvered the law. They got a crime, just like JB said. It's a fugazi law. If you forget about it. So, that being said, now, what's interesting, and you would have relevance on your point to say, well, that same law seems to have been violated by one of the lead champions to go after Trump, which would be Stacey Abrams, or maybe
Letitia James.
Letitia James, thank you. I'm getting them all mixed up these days. Letitia James, she violated it. In fact, she said she was married to her father. That's kind of creepy in itself. I guess she's from Kentucky. But nonetheless, that law was created. Trump got it. And yes, it is a repeat. It is one violation 34 different times. It's the same fucking violation, 34 different counts. And it's fine. They got him. Trump didn't serve any time. He got elected president. And you can cheer on that there's a felony there. Okay, it's not the worst thing that a president has done in our time, and it's really nothing more.
Brad, you and I have had this discussion a million times. And one thing I will say, I do have respect for you and your opinions, even though I don't agree with them. The same question I asked Jules. Do you consider him a felon, yes or no?
Yes, he's a felon.
See, this is why I can talk to Brad, Jules. Because he owns it. He knows it. It's a bullshit felony, bro. He got no jail time. He didn't get probation.
Okay.
You and I would be under the jail. But he did a fucking felony, bro. That's it.
If you said to me, is it a bullshit felon? I'll say yes. You said it's
no. But he's asking, was he convicted of that bullshit felony charge? And you're kind of struggling. Not kind of. You are struggling just to admit that he was found guilty. Why is that?
Because there was a jury that was prearranged to convict him.
Okay, if that's true, why not? If that's true, why not just say that?
Haitian, I got you. You can speak. Don't even mute up. Let me just say this. Bro, there were like 2 or 3 lawyers on that jury. You telling me they're going to risk their careers to put Donald Trump in prison? Come on, bro. Hey.
Hold it,
Jules, wait, hold on. Let
me finish the answer.
I'll answer it. JP, wait, no, hold on. JB can't cut me off. Listen, bro, it's very direct what they're saying, okay? They're saying that in spite of the fact that, it may have been some ulterior motives, right? It doesn't take away from the reality, okay? This is the reality. They stamped on his document, right, that the case was found to have been guilty. I'm really trying to understand, why are you struggling with this? Like, I want to ask you what a man is, at this point, because it's very humorous, right? Like, why not? What is it that's keeping you from? This genuine sincere question. What is it that's keeping you from just saying, "Fuck it"? They got one.
I'll answer. First, I'll answer JB's laughable question about lawyers. Do you know how many lawyers were involved in trying to get Trump? Do you know how many Justice Department lawyers lawyers, how many FBI lawyers, how many of these fucking phony lawyers which went out to get Trump on it. What's it? Letitia James campaigned that she's going to put Trump behind bars when she committed crimes herself. That's number one. Let me answer, because this was bullshit. This was bullshit. They didn't get one. They could get one against you tomorrow.
You don't think they got one? You don't think they got one?
What is wrong with you? It's not hard. If you were to go fill out a job application in a bunch of American states, the motherfucker would have to click the felon box.
Exactly.
Like, I genuinely don't get this. Again, this is the problem with Trump sycophants.
Yeah,
They
that's it,
cannot
right.
admit when he fucked up.
Trump
Just admit
sycophants.
Marshall, let me jump in.
Let me answer Marshall. I gotta answer Marshall.
You don't gotta answer Marshall. Let me. Cool C. That's right, because I think you're a serial killer. But let me say this. I have two lifelong Republicans on my stage right now, right? I have Brad, I have Marshall. Both of them have critical thinking in their head and common sense, right? And listen, Brad's hardcore Republican.
And a former 25-year Republican, now
and another Republican right there. We're all saying, hey, man, it might be forgave you, but it's still a felony conviction. Like Marshall said, he has to check that box. But listen, you stand on your square. Vote for Trump. Let me finish. Vote for Trump in 2028 because he's going to run again. He's going to pull some fugazi shit where the amendments get changed. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it. So you got 30 seconds, then we're going to go pop.
All right, good. I'll wind up saying that whatever you guys are all saying, the whole fucking country knew, and that's why Donald Trump is president again.
It's not about what the country knew. It's about what a judge declared.
Right.
We go to court to say.
I agree with you. I agree with what the judge. I agree with you,
Trump is
Marshall.
not God, bro. Trump is not God. Like y'all
I agree with you. I agree with you, Marshall. That's what the Trump. That's what the Trump haters like you. If you sat on the fucking jury, you do it too. You would do the same fucking thing, Marshall.
Lawyer in all of this world that he wanted to get disbarred was fucking Rudy Giuliani because he lied for the fucking president to a judge's face. He lied. He lied to him so bad he lost his bar license. The only lawyer in all of that fucking rigmarole to lose their law license was Rudy Giuliani because he lied and he did something wrong on the president's behalf and he knew it was wrong when he did it. The problem I have, Jules, is that you are unwilling to tell the truth. You don't have to like the truth. You don't have to think the truth is legitimate, but it's the truth. If we go to look up those things in government records, if I were tomorrow to submit a FOIA to the New York court system for these records, I would get on government documents that it's a felony. So the
Marshall.
fact that you don't agree with it does not make it not a felony. It makes it what it is. And by tonight, you take away all of the integrity that you could have in these debates.
Let me jump in here, Marshall.
To admit the most basic truth.
Let me jump in here before we bring it back up. I got to leave at 11. I have a business call. I'll leave the room to the other mods. But I'll say this. Somebody texted me offline just now and said, man, we haven't spoken about, is ICE the start of America's downfall in 15? Now it's 20 minutes. And my response was automatic. That's MAGA deflection. They don't want to talk about anything other than MAGA and Donald Trump being put on Mount Rushmore, right? That's just a deflection that they use. I mean, I had this room open for 2 hours. We were having a great conversation about ICE, and then Jules wants to come up and let's deflect because we don't want to talk about ICE and the fucked up things they're doing. Let's talk about Donald Trump. And then when he gets pushed back, he's like, oh, wait a second. Don't you guys see what I see? He's the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. It's amazing to me how MAGA has drunk that Kool-Aid. Anyway, we're going to go popcorn style, guys. Hold on, Jules. I'm going to move you down or I'm going to kick you out. You got to let other speakers. You've been really centering this conversation around you for the last hour about Donald Trump. I don't give a fuck. I think Donald Trump has done some good things for our country. I think he's doing some fucked up things for our country.
Donald Trump.
Okay, shut up. Respectfully, man.
My God.
Because if I don't get fucking Cool C and he's gonna fucking kill somebody, think this is a serial killer. Cool C, go ahead.
Yeah. By the way, I'm the one that I'm the one that just moved him down.
Okay. Yes, he was convicted. Yes, he's not going to check that box.
Okay, I moved him down because I clearly just said, let's get back to the subject. And this moron wants to, another MAGA, wants to stay on the fucking Donald Trump train. It's fucking amazing to me. Read the title of the room, you morons. Read it. What does it say? Let me read it for you. Hold on. It says, is ICE the start of America's downfall? I didn't put, is Donald Trump the start of America's downfall?
I mean, in some way, it is true though that it is an indication of America's downfall, like just mismanagement, right? Poor management of a challenge, right? I don't think America is going to be around past 2,000 years from now. We'll be all on the other side, so I won't, be able to say, "Hey, I told you so." But even when we look at it compared to the Roman Empire, America's a really, I would say it's a dynasty at this point, right?
Haitian. Republics are not built for long.
20 minutes ago, you told
Right.
me
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on. See, I moved him down. Hold on, Haitian. I moved him down because he's mentally unstable. He has no mind control. And when I tell you the guy's a fucking serial killer, people don't believe me. Sharon Houston, I sent you an invite to come up. If you want to come speak, you're more than welcome. But yeah, the guy has no fucking mind control. And you know what really bothers me the most? Hold on, Cam, I got you. Is Vera, are you there, Vera?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
You know what bothers me the most? When men get on stage and they cry. You skipped me. You told me 25 minutes ago I'd go next.
It's my turn. Could never be.
It's my turn.
It's so fucking crazy to me. Squeeze your balls, gentlemen, and have a real conversation. But with that said, I want to go to Sharon Houston. Hi, Sharon Houston. How you doing? Sharon? All right. Cam, the mic is yours, Cam.
Wait, okay, sorry, I think the mic wasn't on.
Now it is. We can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. You guys, I live here in LA, and I had my first encounter with an ICE agent. This is what I think the problem is. I don't think it's ICE isn't the start of America's downfall. I think financial inequity is the downfall, because it is very clear that these guys are just doing it for the money. And life it's really hard to work right now. AI is taking away jobs. Cost of living does not rise with the cost of what you get paid for a living, and people are just chasing dollars and not thinking about human beings. That's what I think. I mean, I'm right here in the thick of it. I go down to the detention center every single night. I was able to shoot some buses. Geo Group is also transporting immigrants. They're not just running the concentration camps. A lot of people are making a shit ton of money off of this. It's literally about money.
Concentration camps, they don't look like Dachau or Auschwitz or Soviet
Bro.
or Treblinka.
All right, well then I guess I can't talk in this room then, because that's an absolute falsehood.
Of course you can talk, but the bringing up of the analogy of concentration camps is meant to evoke Auschwitz, Birkenau, Soviet or Treblinka, and they're just not the same.
Yes, they are. They're going to be working for 10 cents a day.
Ever looked at a picture of Auschwitz?
Yeah,
Oh my God!
I don't think they're putting people in ovens. Like, I think it's kind of.
They bought incinerators. They bought incinerators.
Sharon.
Incinerators were purchased.
Sharon. Hold on, I need to talk here. So I'm just going to say this to you respectfully, Miss Houston, because I've never spoken to you before. I just got to meet you up also because you get a lot of feedback. I'm Jewish, right? So when somebody compares these camps, and I think they're insidious, Alligator, Alcatraz, whatever the fuck they're calling it. When you compare it to concentration camps, maybe you don't care, but I have to tell you, it's highly disrespectful what you're doing when you say that, when you compare them. Now, are these camps insidious? Yes. Are they horrible? Yes. Nobody's going to debate that. But when you compare them to where 13 million Jews were incinerated, and let me tell you something, if you're going to say that they're bringing incinerators, in the link in the chat, I'd love to read that. But before we continue, guys, I have to get out of here in 5 minutes because I have a business call to do. I want to welcome Haroon to the stage, because Haroon is just one of the coolest people I know. Haroon, what's good? You're
good.
there.
I'm here. I was on the other side of the room and I had my phone on the table. I'm good. How you doing? Sounds like I'm coming into some spirited conversation. And so, yeah.
What do you think?
Started a downfall. Yeah,
what do you think about that?
I think the start of the downfall of America happened a long time before ICE. My honest opinion, I think that, from my understanding, and if I'm incorrect, someone can correct me. I believe with this new big beautiful bill, the funding for immigration and ICE is exceeding the budget for the Marine Corps, for our real true sovereign defense of our nation, our military. It outspends our defense budget for one component of our national defense. I think, for me, that is outrageous. That is not a appropriate source or appropriate way to allocate resources. Do we need to, control the borders? Absolutely. Do we need to deport, violent criminals who prey on innocent people? No doubt about it. Do we need to deport someone who's been here for 40 years or 50 years, paying taxes, raising children, raising their family, and just, scoop them up off the street by, I'm going to call them Gestapo tactics? I don't think so. That's not necessary. Do we need to have, the military roaming through the streets of a playground where kids are playing? I think that's a bit too far, in my humble opinion. So there you go. That's my opinion.
And your opinion matters to me, and I appreciate you. But I want to shout out one person specifically that's in my VIP section. If you guys don't know C.O. Brown, definitely follow this dude. He's a good dude. And we have some spirited conversations offline. He's the one that put this thought in my head about ICE. And this is why I opened the room in his honor. So, C.O., if you can come up and talk, I'd appreciate it, man. I have nothing but love and respect for you. I got to get going in like a minute. So, other mod, if you want to bring this idiot Pool C back up, unknown 5112, be my guest. He's not going to shut up. If he brings up Donald Trump, please kick him from the room. Steve, you going to run it? Marshall, Vero?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm good.
I'll be back after my business calls. Haroon, you guys that don't know Haroon, man, really a solid dude, man. Get to know Haroon, man. Real respectful guy.
Make lots of money, Jake.
That's the plan, bro.
I'm here. I'm not bringing him up.
It's going to take a directive from
No, that's fine.
authority.
No worries.
Can I play
Yeah,
the clip of
The midterms are a long way away. I don't know.
You want to play the clip? Go ahead, Lonzo.
yeah, this is Greg Abbott. Hold on.
You ask, I'm going to use your words. Who's to blame? Know this. That's the word choice of losers. Let me explain one thing about Texas. And that is, Texas, every square inch of our state cares about football. You could be in Hunt, Texas, Huntsville, Texas, Houston, Texas, any size community, they care about football. High school, Friday Night Lights, college football, or pro. And know this, every football team makes mistakes. The losing teams are the ones that try to point out who's to blame. The championship teams are the ones that say, don't worry about it, man, we got this. We're going to make sure that we go score again, that we're going to win this game. The way winners talk is not to point fingers. They talk about solutions. What Texas is all about is solutions. In fact, I want to read you something that I received last night that's worth emphasizing to put this in context. Tragedy has come. It's
191 are missing and counting. And he's talking about, Friday Night Lights, football, because every Texan cares about football.
I feel like that's how they actually think about it, though. Like you have to have that kind of mentality to not think, if there's something, if you can reduce the scale of a tragedy or a tragedy, that would be the priority for most people. To be in a position, keep
your head. That is helpful for good governance.
I disagree. Yeah, I don't know, like you said, if you look at thousands of years of history, the downfall of countries came at the expense or started to come when
create one stupid title and everybody's like, the title. Talk about the title.
Put their citizens' quality of life in the back of their head. That's when the downfall.
Jim, that is certainly one of the things that historically has taken down kingdoms and empires. Wealth inequality, inability to move up the social ladder, the inability to get food or water, the inability to find safety. Those are all things that in thousands of years of history denote unstable civilizations, whether they're kingdoms or empires.
I don't think like all of those things are happening in the United States right now. Clearly, it's not. I mean, the ability.
Right. My point was that you were highlighting one of the key contributing factors. Toward decline of countries. Yeah. There's a historian. He's a Greek dude. His name was Polybius. He said that there was a guarantee that all countries collapse, but you could never pick when and where. Only that.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it before, but I mean, him saying that and all of these, it's like that is supposed to be the guiding factor or whatever like that. But at the same time, history has shown us that more and more governments have put the quality of life, the quality of life for their citizens at the bottom end of importance. That's when the downfall is starting to happen. And right now in the United States are putting the quality of life of, regardless of who we think those citizens are, I think those citizens are people who were born in the United States and that are here legally. But when we go from trying to make sure that they're okay to taking away their Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security and stuff like that, that's what the downfall of our country looks like, and that's what's happening. They're literally taking away hundreds of millions of people's ability to get.
I mean, I've read the bill. It does not throw off 100 million people.
It does. It literally does. The
country's entire population is about 360 million people. In order to throw 100 million people off Medicaid, you would have to throw most of the people in Medicaid off Medicaid. And that's not what the bill said. I agree with you. It does take away services. Part of the reason for that is because the largest line item in the federal budget is a combination of 3 separate programs: Social Security, disability insurance, and Medicare. That takes about $2.5 or $2.75 trillion out of the U.S. budget every single year. And something particularly important about Social Security has been borrowed from by Republican and Democratic majority Congresses from the early 2000s to now. They took a grand total of about $4 trillion out of the trust fund. Now, they say it's a trust fund, really it's just a line in a government ledger. Point being, by 2034, it will no longer be a one-to-one payee system. It will be a one-to-two payee system. So instead of me supporting my mom and my brother supporting my dad for Social Security, it'll be me and my brother support my mom and the two kids next door support my dad, because Social Security will, because of the intergovernmental borrowing, go bankrupt. So you have to lift that up. The second largest expense in the federal budget is interest on our debt. And one of the big problems with the best crap sandwich we were going to get in the big beautiful bill is that it raises both deficits and debt to unhealthy levels. My point in saying all of this is that, and I'll send you the bill if you don't have it, but it doesn't throw 100 million people off. It throws people off, just not 100 million of them.
Shit, on my phone. Hold on, wait. Do you know the number? Shit.
Well, Marshall, what I read as far as Medicaid is that it may kick as many as 11 million people off of Medicaid, but that's only because there is a new requirement in the bill that they have to prove up at least 20 hours a week of either studying or attempting to get a job or vocational retraining. As long as they're able to prove up the 20 hours, at least what the experts say, they're not going to be kicked off. But I heard the number is 10 or 11 million, not hundreds of millions. I don't even think there are hundreds of millions of people on Medicaid.
There are.
You gotta stop watching MSNBC and
that's the number for Medicare. Not to believe that's the number.
There's no 100 million on Medicare. There's no 100 million, hundreds of millions on Medicaid. None of that is occurring. What you stated is false.
Are you done?
Apparently you are, because you've just said face.
Are you done?
Brad, the person who works in that space. So when
That's right.
So when he tells me that, if I can't, he's being honest.
Okay, well, tell you what, sir, since apparently, at least you're giving the impression that you know and we don't, how many people are on Medicaid? Give us the number.
Listen.
No. I'd like, before you continue, sir. Before you say anything else, because you said our numbers are wrong, give us the number.
I never said your number.
Okay, please continue then.
The number I was asking for was something totally different, my guy. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, stop trying to cheat. Stop trying.
Okay, well, obviously I didn't hear you. What were you asking?
Again, so what are the numbers for you gave me the numbers for the people that was on Medicare. Now, what about Social Security?
I think the people on Social Security are about 50 million. I'm just going by memory, about 50 million.
No, what about the people that's coming off of Social Security?
You mean that are going to be kicked off of Social Security?
Why are we becoming crowdsourced to Google? What's going on here? Like, we don't need to be doing research.
Well, it's a legitimate question. My answer is I don't know. Do you?
About 7.5 million.
7.5 million out of 50 million. Okay.
50 million. So we're kicking off a good.
No, it's 7.5 million estimated, just depending. I think in 2023, I'd have to look it up. It's about, I'll just give it a round number, 8 to 10 million people are collecting Social Security. So even those numbers are way off.
So the 50 million number is way off?
Yes, all of your numbers have been way off. Like, I don't think you understand this. I don't think you understand how either of them work.
I've only ever said one number, so all of my numbers are off. My one number was off.
Brad, I just checked Google for whatever it's worth. I said 50. Google says 73. I thought it was closer to 50 on Social Security.
I'm sorry, I thought you were asking for SSI. I apologize.
We have to realize, Cam, that the greatness of this country is not built on SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid. You know what I mean? I don't understand what you're trying to say.
I'm getting really
confused. Those programs are not ending. They may get more rules and regulations, might get reduced a little bit, but they're not being eradicated, right?
I just think when we start taking away some of the quality of life benefits for our citizens, that's what's going to end up being a hindrance, because a country is only as good as its citizens, and if everybody in your country wants to leave, then you don't even have a government. You don't have a country, because your government is ruling or governing no one.
And sir, that's a reasonable take. I disagree with it, but it's a reasonable take. As soon as you start taking benefits away from your citizens, you're lowering the quality of life. I can appreciate that. I respectfully disagree with it, but at least that take is reasonable.
So there's a couple of problems here. First, this problem has been existing since the 70s. About Social Security. This has been an ongoing problem. The reason you're having your feelings tugged at you right now is because there's a guy in office who's not going to face a third term. And there are some Republicans that are just like, we've wanted this for decades. Decades, I'm telling you. They have wanted to basically overhaul the way the Social Security funds are working. There have been Democrats that wanted to do this. This used to be a bipartisan effort. There used to be pro and Social Security and benefits groups, and they weren't delineated on ideological lines. They were delineated on fiscal accountability because there were conservative Democrats back then who realized that this was a problem. Every president, every administration, and every Speaker of the House has pretty much kicked the can down the road, despite promising to fix it on every platform. Now there's a guy in office who's saying, let's gut it, let's fix it, let's get this thing back on track. And is this the right way? We'll have to see. There's a lot of nuanced debate about it. But right now, doing nothing is not there. And let's be honest, there is a shit ton of waste, fraud, and abuse through all of these programs. There is no lackadaisical approach. There is no taking it down. There is like 30 to 40% waste, fraud, and abuse where people can be contributing members. We decried that people that are 50 years and older don't need to be part of society. They should just retire, go on cruises and golf until they have a heart attack and die in their fucking toilet. That was the society thing. This administration is saying, no, I think you can contribute. You can volunteer. You can have a job. You can go and get education. You can seek all these different pathways, and all we're asking for is, 40 hours a month? So now you're crying that able-bodied people can do a variety of things and contribute to the society and the very fabric of America by contributing to their communities. You're now saying that's too much, that's too far. No, in fact, we should be arguing that. There is a lot of seniors out there. There is a lot of people that are 50 years and older that have a wealth of knowledge to teach you and to show you. And the fact that you just think you're going to get your information off of TikTok and, think you're cool or use whatever fucking AI tool of the week is, I'm gonna tell you something. There's a big difference between knowledge and wisdom. And right now, you're showing neither. Like, these people need to be contributing to society. They need to be helping us. They need to be guiding us so we don't repeat the history mistakes that have been done in the past. And if you don't want to learn from them, fine. Then sit down and shut up. Somebody else will.
Brad, small correction. It's 80 hours a month, 20 hours a week.
That's not too bad. I mean, we Americans, man, we are builders and makers and innovators. Like, we just have to get back to it. That's what, made America what it is. If we want to work. I mean, if you're a real American, I don't understand. Like, I want to work and build stuff and get stuff done. I'm not, isn't that the goal, to have better jobs, better, good paying jobs, having the ability to start your own business? Isn't that the American dream? The American dream is not being on a social safety net. That should not be the goal. I understand that some people fall onto it. It should be there for those, but we should be motivating each other to achieve high goals, not low-hanging fruit. I don't know.
Nathan, the American dream has kind of been put aside right now. America is a country of consumption. It used to be production.
we buy them back, and then we do something with it. We're consumers. We are yes, thinking out of the box, but it's not necessarily in favor of the country. So after you get 2 or 3 generations into that mindset, it's already off track.
But Derek, that's your perspective. But for whatever type of job category that you're in, but the type of business that I'm in, I'm seeing that there are a lot of shakers and makers in this country. They're building construction workers, people who own these massive companies that really get stuff done. They get overlooked. They're not being represented as they should, right? And we talking about blue-collar businesses and all businesses. And right now, I think that the president is putting more focus on those type of things because we just can't think our way out of these problems. We have to actually put hands on the ground, actually build up our nation, upgrade our infrastructure, right?
I absolutely agree with that, Nathan, but that's what it takes, yeah. You're absolutely right. But is it actually for or from or out of the country? You know, is a MAGA hat still made in China? You know, I mean, I understand the formation of work, of jobs, I'm right now I'm kind of really fucked up because of the great conversations going on. I can't really eloquently present
let me help you out with this. I think it's called valuing jobs, right? And I think that's what's happening, being talked about. And I think it's a fight between white collar, blue collar. That's always been going on, right? Who should we value? Should we value that white collar job, that secretary who gets paid 6 figures, or should we value that construction worker, give him 6 figures to actually, and I think that's the real conversation was happening.
Yeah, but isn't it both? Because
they're fighting over who job is more valuable than what.
Nathan, the last time that you were able to take a blue-collar job and actually generate wealth and have it to be able to pass down was like, I think economists are saying like around 1974, 75. That was the last time where you were able to walk out of high school, go down to, I'm going to pick an old place, Bethlehem Steel, and work the steel factory and be able to go buy a house in your early 20s, sit down and have money, have the savings, be able to do that. And the economy was stable in that time frame. There was a lot of fuck-ups, and it led us to other pathways that had ramifications 20 years later. But basically, that was the last time frame when a blue-collar worker was revered. Like, you went down there. You walked in, the foreman shook your hand and said, all right, we'll give you a chance, kid. Here's a broom, sweep up. And you stayed there. You had unions that petitioned and fought for safety measures and things along those lines with a lot of corruption as well. But they still did some good things. And you lost that somewhere along the way because you pushed for an admin office job. You didn't want to do that. And to be fair, I mean, yeah, it sounds good if you can make 6 figures working as a phone rep at AT&T. I doubt you're going to make that, but it sounds a lot more fun, but it's a boring job. And we told people that build houses, carpenters, electricians, that you weren't needed. And in fact, we pulled journeyman apprenticeships out of high schools and other programs. There used to be BOCES. All of these things used to exist, and now they're gone. And we're sitting here going, I don't like to pay the high cost of a carpenter to come redo my patio or whatever it is that you have going on, and you're complaining about housing prices. But because of the benefits, because of the white collar push, we sat there and said as a culture, that's not needed anymore. So now you have to pay $500,000 for a shittily made home that's fabricated overnight, and no longer have those great constructions, those artists, because that's really what they were. You don't have them. And here's the great thing.